folks, live from the community room of the Cedarburg Public Library in Cedarburg, Wisconsin, 53012. For those of you who want to send us love letters, not hate mail, love letters, it's the Jack Henke Show. 60 minutes. 60 whole minutes of Jack Henke.
No.
Yes.
No.
60 full minutes.
That's not true. No false advertising. We got a few commercial breaks.
Yeah, we do. That's true.
Well,
All right, 58 minutes of, Jack Henke.
What about our esteemed guests? You're not going to
we'll
let them
get
talk?
to that too. Let me at least
Well, you're doing a great job
intro.
announcing
I wrote
so far.
something, Jack. I have to do the intro.
Would you get on with it,
This
please?
is a masterful intro. All right. So this is lunchtime infotainment, I would say, with your host and mine, Mr. Jack Henke. That's the last time I'm calling him Mr. because it's the first episode. I will call him Mr. This is Jeff Messerman along with Scott Roush. He's on the board there, making us all sound great. Inviting you to join Jack and his guest today, Tom Stanton, a.k.a. Mel of Mel's Charities, Patty Gallun-Hanson of ShopMainStreetOnline.com. That's one of them, their websites, isn't it? Yeah,
yes,
okay.
All right. Can't get anything past you.
Musician and jingle master. I called you a jingle master, Terry. How's that? Terry Swing.
I like it.
Our musical guest today is Elizabet Cation, who is absolutely wonderful, and you'll meet her at the 1245 area there. So, now the man who lost his job teaching French when he tried to tell his students that buffet meant get up and get it yourself, Jack Henke.
You can kiss my buffet. Thank you very much.
Yay!
Thank you, victims who are here.
My applause sign is not working today, so you're on your own, Jack.
Thank you very little, Bulldog.
Absolutely.
This is a big day, our first day. It's first radio show since I got fired from our other show.
That was so great. I love doing that.
Yeah, thanks a lot. One of our esteemed members of our audience asked me before, what's the show going to be about? And that's always going to be a good question, but mostly it's going to be based on small town humor and fun, mostly twisted small town humor and fun, because that's the funny stuff. When, I actually did research for this show, and I Googled up small town humor, and you would believe how unfunny most of the small town humor is.
And now we're here to contribute to the
yes, exactly.
genre.
Yeah. Well, but I have guaranteed laughs today, and that's because not because of you guys. It is because I cleverly went around before and offered everyone some candy, and now no matter what happens, I can say there will be Snickers throughout the audience.
Bad. Look at my best groan out here.
Maybe Jack, you want to clarify that the Snickers are candy bars and not from somewhere else.
Thank you. I'll remember that when I'm interrogating. I mean, asking you questions. Your softballs just became hardballs.
Sorry.
You are no help at all. But the vision on the show is to get together on a weekly basis. We did Live-ish at 5-ish for a while and tried this as well, but we just didn't have the time to plan it out and get the show organized and get.
We failed-ish.
Yes. Well, I think the more than the ish, we failed to underline. But the idea still holds. I started. This all started. I had a column in the weekly paper that I've been writing. My books are under somewhere since 2002, and been doing columns about small time humor. And people always ask me, "How do you know what to write about? What do you do?" Well, it's not about the historic buildings and things going on. It's about the people, because the people are the funny part, and they don't even know it, and that's the funny part. So when there are groaners like the Snickers, but then there's also real fun stuff, which we will bring you on a regular basis here every Friday at noon, Central Standard Time.
That's the goal.
Our fans in the Ukraine, of which we had many, probably the only ones we had when we were on Live-ish at 5-ish, were in the Ukraine.
You're very big.
Very big.
Huge.
In Ukraine. Yes. No explanation whatsoever. I'm sure them not understanding English had nothing to do with it. But
well, we're quite funny.
Yeah, maybe they had a translator
in a foreign tongue. We're hilarious.
A foreign tongue. That's gross. So the structure of the show is we're going to have 3 guests. We're going to talk to them each. They can all join in and harangue each other as well. We're lucky to have a talented young musician here today who's been in show business for 5 years already, and she's 17.
So, and we sprung her from high school today, which
can't
is awesome.
beat that.
Yeah,
Nice.
Absolutely.
You can't beat that.
Let me guess. Was it a dentist appointment or was it a little scratchy throat? I'm not sure. Okay, that's fine.
It can't be a scratchy throat. She sang it.
That's true.
So welcome everyone who is here or listening live, and there will be a podcast that the esteemed doctor, the man with more nicknames than anyone in history,
There'll be 10 more before the end of the show.
Dr. Timothy Leary, Johnny Fever Roush, his real name Scott, is going to be mixing something. Yeah, yes, mixing for us. And if anyone out there or anyone in the audience has ideas for guests, please let us know because we'd love to talk to them. Nothing's out of bounds. They just can't be dull.
Yeah. We have a big hook back here.
Well, and even that, with Mel here, you understand, we've kind of even given dull a little leeway. So we're in good we're in good shape. So we're going to have 2 breaks at 15 and 45. Bulldog is the Ed McMahon of the show.
I'll be on your front porch bringing you your Publishers Clearinghouse check very soon. So, yes, for those of you who remember that.
He's more of the Dread McMahon, but that's him. That's how we get along. But we were brought together by Cedar Blurbs, and I think, should we start with a blurb?
I think we should.
Bulldog?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I brought a blurb from 5 years ago, almost, from January 29, 2015, and I thought it was apropos for what's going on around here. Tomorrow, we're supposed to get a blizzard of anywhere from 6 to 24 inches, depending on who you're listening to.
Presumably at the Piggly Wiggly right now, there's no more milk.
Milk?
There's always a rush on milk.
No, there's plenty of milk.
Right,
there's no brandy. There's plenty of milk. But
code word.
People are stocking up. They're getting their provisions. Reminds me of Yukon Cornelius. And I thought this is perfect because this, from January 29th, is a perfect thing when, if you recall, you probably don't recall, but New York City was supposed to get a big, huge blizzard, and it was national news. So here we on the Midwest are really supposed to get hammered, and we don't hear anything about it on the national news, but it just goes to show you the media bias is all wrong. It's not conservative or liberal.
No, I heard this
Eastern.
is a liberal storm.
Yeah. We're going to get liberal. We're going to get liberal amounts of snow.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so here we go. And Bulldog said, "Don't make this dull." So I'm going to increase my read here for you. New York City tough? What a snow job. Today is a day that people from small towns and burgs all over Ozaukee County and even the entire U.S. of A. can remember with pride. We may be small, but we stand tall. We rule. It is January. Now, I am not a weather person and I don't play one on TV, but even a simple writer like me can tell you that in January, in North America, it is winter. That's not just a meteorological fact. It's common sense. In January, it's cold. Duh. Historically, it has even snowed in January in these here northern states. This simple truth has revealed a flat-out falsehood. A fallacy has been exposed. A myth busted. A stereotype has been outed in typical fashion. The New York City tough guy is a wimp. Hey, De Niro, I'm talking to you. Main Street's my eye. That's life in the big city. We've heard them all here. Well, on Tuesday night, the mean streets were nice and empty. No snow, no traffic, no tough small-town folk to sweep off the sidewalks for them wimpy city slickers. No, the night before the storm that wasn't, people were lined up at grocery stores to buy supplies. The next day, the Big Apple was hollow to its core. Snowpocalypse? More like, what the apocalypse? Snowmageddon? You gotta be kidding. Not one hair on Donald Trump's head was blown out of place. While they closed the subways for the first time in 110 years, we hope it gets cold enough here to hold bed races in Cedar Creek. I'm just saying. Broadway was closed. Wimps, it was $2 night here at the Riverland that same night. Broadway's new motto should be, the snow must go on. But wait a minute, where the heck is it? They closed Central Park. The snow total was 8 inches. God, if we get 8 inches of snow here in Cedar Creek Park, it doesn't even interrupt the Frisbee game. In the Hudson Valley, the total accumulation was 4 inches. If we got 4 inches of snow in Pleasant Valley, we wouldn't even change into high-top tennis shoes. In fairness, Mother Nature and New York's politicians got into a game of chicken. The government didn't flinch, and Mother Nature veered east, hammering Connecticut and Massachusetts, leaving New Yorkers out in the warmth. It was like they were surviving in denial. Guess what? Their local squawking weatherheads are worse than ours. Do you remember the story, The Emperor Has No Clothes? Well, these weatherists had clothes, but no snows. Yet it didn't stop them from reporting live out in the drifting 2 inches of snow. The press conferences were classic. Distressed New Yorkers were wondering if food delivery bicycles would be allowed out in the streets. The question was so vital that they asked Mayor Bill de Blasio about it at a live press conference. His deadpan response? Food delivery bicycles are not emergency vehicles. Luckily, the sign language interpreters were on hand to relay this breaking news. Our mayor, Kip Kinzel, has fielded his share of questionable questions, but he has not had to face this level of ridiculousness yet. Luckily, I have a great news resource in New York. Yes, we have snow boots on the ground there. He reported that the whole blizzard was overblown. What more or less can you say? New Yorkers have been exposed. The next Eastern tourists better watch themselves on the mean streets of the burg. Blurb out.
All right, everybody, we're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we will have this distinguished...
TFS is first.
There we go. we come back to TFS first. It's Jack's show. What can I do? We'll be back right after this. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, on the Jack Henke Show. But we are good. We're back. And since we're back, here's Jack. I always wanted to do that.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Our first guest today is going to be, he's esteemed worldwide musician, jingle master, written every kind of song that you can imagine, and performed as well. Started playing rock and roll when he was almost as young as our guest, or even younger, right? 14. 14.
14.
His name is Terry F. Sweet. And we're going to start. A better way to intro Terry, and the way most of you will recognize him, is through what we call his demo reel. So, Bulldog, Maestro, hit it.
Step up to quality furniture. Step up to Calder's. Stein Gardens and Gifts, 'cause everybody needs a little sunshine.
David Hobbs Honda, put me in a Honda.
7 Mile Fair, 7 Mile Fair, where weekends mean bargains. 7 Mile Fair.
Get comfy, get cozy. Your rooms are ready at Calder's.
News Radio 620 WTMJ.
Breathe well with simple solutions at bedload.com.
Hey boaters, cruise to Kendall Marine. We've got everything you need but the water.
We're putting it all together for you at Calder's.
Call Callan. We put the wow in home remodeling. Metalcraft of Mayville, where employees make the difference.
That's our bit. Fashion and fit. Here at Stanton, where fashion fits.
Do the double back, get more. Rock country, rock music every Friday and Saturday night. You could be shopping at Calder's. 1-800-Flowers.com.
Leave it to the good hands, people. You're in good hands with Allstate.
The Deli Mayo from Kraft.
2 scoops of raisins. Make Kellogg's Raisin Bran the one. 2 scoops, 2 scoops, 2 scoops, 2 scoops. Make Kellogg's the one.
There you go.
That's it.
Yep.
That's all? That's all you got?
That's all I put on that reel. I got bored after a while.
It's funny. People hear those things and they go, oh, that's you? That's you? You did that?
I know.
And, you know, what is it about, Terry, what is it about jingles that people give 2 scoops about?
Well, they're catchy and they stick in your head. You know, it's a simple melody with a simple piece of information attached to the melody. Kind of like how many people learn their ABCs by singing A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It's information tied to melody. Same thing.
Very cool.
I couldn't have finished that.
You got to hit the M for male. Well, how did it all start? How'd you get into music, Terry?
Well, I played piano as a kid. Started with classical piano lessons.
By force or by?
No, by choice. My mom went and bought a piano one time. She just had a vision of how the house should look, and in her vision, there was a piano in the living room. So she went and bought a piano, and I had 2 older brothers. She lined us up one day and said, "Would any of you like to take piano lessons?" And my oldest brother said, "Yeah," and the middle brother said, "No," and I said, "Yeah, I would." So I went to Mrs. Wilson, piano teacher in the neighborhood, who had a daughter my exact age.
I remember this. Now. Yes?
Do you want me to tell
No,
you?
no, please just, yes. Tell us, was Mrs. Wilson a good teacher?
Mrs. Wilson was a terrific teacher.
How long did you have her as a teacher?
2.5 years, something like that, maybe 3.
Okay.
We moved away, unfortunately.
Okay, so when you moved away, how'd you keep it going?
Well, we moved, that was in Kansas City, Missouri. I moved to Milwaukee because my dad worked for AT&T, and they moved him all over the place. And my mom hooked me up with a teacher from the conservatory, but that didn't work out at all because I couldn't stand her. And eventually I got with a different teacher who taught me chords. And once I learned chords, I went, "Oh, hello." Hello.
This is how that works.
Now I can do this on my own. And so, right about that time, the Beatles were big and all that. So that really turned me on, and decided I wanted to play rock and roll. Got an old friend here today who's one of my first bandmates.
Who is that?
Anthony Cashin.
I've heard that name before.
And
the Cashin part.
Yeah. And so we were in a band, a couple of bands actually, and had a lot of adventures, played a lot of gigs. So the rock and roll thing was really big for me back then. Eventually I started doing some country gigs and did some other things. And another friend of ours introduced me to somebody in the studio business. And so I started kind of hanging out at the studio. And one day they called me up because they knew I loved the studio. And they said, "Can you write jingles?" And I said, "Hell yeah."
What's a jingle?
Yeah. Of course, I had never done that before, but I said, yeah. And so they said, "Well, here's the deal. We have a client that wants a jingle. It's an ad agency guy. And so you write the jingle for him, come down here to the studio, record a little rough demo, just piano and voice, just, simple, but enough that they can get the melody and the lyrics and all that. And then you put on a business suit and take it out and present it to him. And he'll have to present it to his client. But if you do all that, we'll help you, get the musicians that you need and all that. And then we'll get them in the studio. You get this thing produced, get us paid. If you do all that.
Just those few things.
Yeah, just those few things.
The hardest thing was putting on a suit.
It probably was. Then you'll have a full-time job here at $100 a week.
Wow.
Yep.
I'd take that now.
And I said, "You're on." So we did it. And so I've been doing jingles ever since.
Excellent.
Yeah. It was Mayfair Mall at the
Mall.
time.
Was the jingle?
Yeah.
And?
Yeah.
They like it?
Yeah. They bought it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They bought it.
I remember I was scared out of my mind walking into, I was in one of these big office buildings downtown with marble floors and windows, and you walk down the hall and there's a door. All the doors are closed and there's a number on it, but I wasn't sure if I was supposed to knock on that outside door or do I walk in and there's a reception there. I really didn't know. I stood out there in the hall for 10 minutes probably going, I don't know what to do. So finally I just opened the door and there was a receptionist in there and all, and I walked in, started to introduce myself, and then I heard some guy yell, "Derry, come on in here.
You're late. You're 10 minutes late. Where the hell were you?"
Yeah, right. So I went in his office, which was a big room, all dark, real dark. And it was the biggest mess you've ever seen. And so I had to crawl under his desk to plug my little tape recorder in. And I said, "Now this is just a rough demo. I mean, this is just me and the." He's like, yeah, just play it. Yeah. And I went, all right. And so I played it, and he started pounding the table, and he going, "They're gonna love this. This is awesome." And so I was like, okay. All right. So they did. They did love it, and we did produce it, and I did get them paid, and I got a job. And then 2 years later, I decided I didn't need them, and I went off on my own.
So, and you've been on your own ever since.
Yep.
On your own, you still collect and work with some of the most talented musicians in the world when you do jingles.
I do.
And singers.
Yeah. I do all my rough demo, my composing, my rough demos and stuff in a little home studio. But when the project is all approved. I write charts. I write a score for the piece with strings and brass, whatever it is. And I hire musicians and singers generally in Nashville.
Why Nashville?
Talent level is so good, it's scary. These guys are, I can't even tell you how good. I don't have a superlative to tell you how good these people are.
Did you just say superlative?
I did.
Wow.
I know words.
I thought you were just a rock and roll dude. For
I
God's
know
sakes.
words. And so Nashville's the place.
Excellent.
I do a lot in Chicago too, but Nashville and I just seem to fit well. Just my producing style, their studio style. It's a good fit.
And then when you go to Nashville, it's not just all country. That
No.
you can do it any style there, right? Because they're so talented.
I've done every genre of music you can name. I've recorded it in Nashville.
And I can vouch for that. One time for one of my clients, you and I flew out to Salt Lake City,
Yep,
which you called L.A. East,
correct.
because that's where they cut all the B movie music soundtracks, because it's a huge haven for people who are not quite as expensive as Los Angeles
That's
musicians.
exactly right. They do all the trailers, all the music for all the trailers and stuff. You see a trailer for a movie on TV or something like that, chances are the music score that you're hearing for that trailer is not really part of the music score from the movie, because the trailer was probably done before the music composer ever got the score done.
I've noticed
for the
that in
movie.
trailers. Sometimes you hear a song
Yeah.
and then there's no song like that in the movie whatsoever. You're like, what the hell happened to there?
Exactly.
You know?
So somebody just scored the trailer. That's
Like
a whole separate thing.
Attack of the Swamp Creature would have been scored there. Are you telling me that you were in the same area where that great movie soundtrack
Better.
was put together?
I think you could count on that.
That is awesome.
I'm sure it was.
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes is better.
Oh well,
I'm sure going to miss her. A tomato ate my sister. That was classic.
lyrically brilliant. Yes.
So you mentioned a tape recorder, and then you and I were joking around before. You used to carry this huge boombox in
Yep.
everywhere, and now you walk in with what?
Well, I've got a little Bose speaker and my phone. It's really
It's changed
It's
just a little
hilarious.
bit.
Yeah,
That's how we
it's
put this
hilarious.
radio show together.
Yeah,
Actually.
yeah.
yeah,
Right.
Well, I mean, it's what's really changed for me is when I go to the studio, because years ago, I used to have to carry a lot of gear. I'd have to carry a computer and some other MIDI gear and keyboards and sound modules. Just getting all my gear to the studio was a workout. And now I just send my files ahead digitally, and I don't carry anything. I get there, and they've already got my files. I've got my charts with me. That's it.
Very cool. And I go ahead, Patty.
So not only do you have to be musically superlative,
Ooh,
you also are writing the lyrics, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
Typically.
Okay. Yeah.
Not always. I mean, it happens every different which way, but the most common scenario is that the ad agency might have a theme line, and they'll want me to build the lyrics based on that theme line. Sometimes they don't even have that.
Wow.
Sometimes they just go, just go do it. And then I have to create the theme line and the lyrics. Usually I'm doing the lyrics, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Multifaceted.
Terry is going to write a musical piece for this show, for the intro, and my creative direction was what, Terry?
Little punk rock with Johnny Carson theme song. Mix those two things.
Mix those. That's easy.
He actually made a new genre. That's great.
I know.
That didn't exist before. did it?
Punk Johnny.
Yes. Punk Jack.
Yeah, people would agree with that. So Terry, what about music in general? So who is you mentioned the Beatles.
Yep.
They're your favorite.
Yep.
And what is it about the Beatles you like so much?
Everything. I mean, they're just brilliant songwriters, first of all. That's probably number one. But, their arrangements and recordings, I think George Martin had a big input on that. But, they were brilliant in the studio. They used the studio as an instrument. And they did a lot of experimenting, and they did things that we enjoy today because they created those things. And, just as musicians and songwriters, there's nobody been even close, I don't think.
Are there any
topical popular music artists today that you say, I like them, or they're going to go places, or
No.
are you a crusty old man?
I'm a
about
crusty
music?
old man,
That
yeah.
Beatles or Death? No Megadeth, no
no.
Twisted Sister, no Iron Maiden.
Not personally. What happens if I get an assignment for a project? You may have heard that Metalcraft piece on my reel. I'm typically not a heavy metal guy, but when I met with them, I learned that the people that they're interested in reaching listen to heavy metal music. And so once I knew that, I knew I had to do that. So, I listened to some of the stuff you're talking about. And
So forced versatility.
yeah, exactly. That's how I've learned a lot of different genres. Just because I've been assigned it. I got assigned to do a Cajun piece one time. And I didn't really, at the time, I didn't even know what they meant, And so I had to go to the store and buy some Cajun albums and go kind of immerse myself in that genre. And then once I was kind of in that space, I kind of listened to it and analyze what the different people in that band are doing to get that sound. What kind of thing does the bass player play? If you're doing a reggae thing, the bass player might skip the first beat, which is really odd. And but you get a real interesting swing kind of feel out of that. And so if you listen to those things and analyze them, you can kind of copy them.
Okay. Well, last thing I'll say is that our Salt Lake City experiment was an opera piece for
That's right.
for deli meat.
Yep.
So
Yep.
talk about a stretch.
Yep.
Well, thanks for joining us. We're looking forward to Punk Jack, and we're gonna move on to the little lady in the middle.
Must not be me.
Thanks for the little part.
Patty Gallun-Hanson is one of the true blue Cedarburgers.
And so boring compared to him.
No.
Oh my
no,
gosh.
No. He's never really done any of that stuff.
I'm sitting here the whole time with my mouth open going, wow, that's really cool.
Well, you got to keep your mouth open now, but
Okay.
now you got to flap it a little bit.
Okay.
So when I say true blue Cedarburg, you were born in Cedarburg.
Well, after the hospital, they brought me home.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Oh boy, this is gonna be fun.
Trouble guest, Jack. We got our first trouble guest.
All right, on to guest number 3. Patty, you're a member of the Cedarburg Grafton Rotary Club. You were the chamber, not president, the
Executive director.
Executive director. You and your husband, a.k.a. Mr. Wonderful,
Correct.
are MCs annually of the 4th of July parade. You could be called...
And we also are the judges for the bed races for Winter Festival.
Oh, my God. Is that all?
I didn't know they needed judges.
What
What are they up to over there?
What year were you the Chamber of Commerce's Person of the Year?
Oh, God.
A year ago? 2 years ago?
Oh, that was
recently.
No, that was the Cedarburg Foundation Civic Award.
Okay.
That was in 2018, I believe, or 2017.
I'm sorry to mess up your words. I apologize for that. So, what is it about Cedarburg you like? Why do you hang around here?
Well, I was like every other kid growing up here. I couldn't wait to get the heck out.
Right.
And when I went to other places like Chicago and Los Angeles and Oklahoma, I couldn't
there's a
wait.
range.
Yeah, there you go. I couldn't wait to get back because it is, everybody. It makes you feel comfortable. It's safe. It just, I don't know. You know that song?
No! Don't start with the songs again. We're gonna have to. We're going to unplug Terry's mic.
But no, it's just a great place to grow up. Everybody knows you, and you know everybody, and it's friendly and warm. And being in other places across the country, it's so cold. People are cold. They're afraid to interact. You say, have a nice day, and some people are just like, what, you talking to me? And you're like, yeah.
Trying to pick a fight?
Right.
Okay, so
although Oklahoma, first, I'm sorry.
Yes, that's supposed to be the nicest state in the union.
I don't know.
Actually.
I kind of got a little angry with Oklahomians at first because every time I'd walk into a store, they'd say, "Well, how you doing today, sugar? Bless your heart." And I'm thinking to myself, You don't know me. Why are you blessing my heart?
Boy, you
know,
sound a little like a grouchy old.
I was a
son of
grouchy
gun.
little. Yeah, I was.
Jeez, they're gonna
But
say
then-
that little bitter pill just left the store. Thank
Yep.
God.
But then I got used to it, and I came back to Wisconsin. And when I walked into a store, they didn't say those things, and I was outraged. So
You start calling everybody
there's-
sugar?
There's just no pleasing me, I guess.
Well, that's Mr. Wonderful's problem.
That's right.
We're not going to solve that.
And
here.
boy, does he have a problem.
Yeah. So, professionally, you've been in the jewelry business forever.
I
correct?
have. I was born and raised in the business.
Yeah. How did that start?
Well, after I was born, my mother had a jewelry store, and she put me in a basket and shoved me underneath the counter. And when I cried, she put a bottle in my mouth, and that was about it. So I
Put a diamond in her.
Yeah, right. So, now I teach all little girls to say 1 carat diamond, GIA certified. Thank you and goodbye.
And you have evolved your business. You now have your own jewelry business here in Cedarburg.
I do.
But you've expanded way past that with.
Shop Main Street online.
And how did you come to start that?
Well, this is kind of sad. I got my letter from the Chamber of Commerce asking me for my dues, and I looked at the letter and I thought, oh gosh, what do they do for me? So I called Jennifer, the executive director at the time, and I said, I can't believe I'm going to ask you this because I used to be you, but what's in it for me? And she, of course, gave the answer that I would have given anybody else if they had asked me. And I said, I'll tell you what. If you'll just meet with me for 30 minutes, I've got an idea. If you like it...
Meet with you for 30 minutes? That's one. That's the answer to one question with you, for God's sakes. Does she know that?
Yeah.
So 7 hours later, she
7
said,
hours
all right,
later.
anything. Let's stop the meeting.
Right.
I'll
yeah.
agree to anything.
I give up. It's great. It's great. But no, she kindly met with me for 30 minutes. I stuck to the 30-minute time limit. And she liked the idea, and what it was is to start a selling platform, a marketplace, similar to Etsy or Amazon, but it was going to be for small American businesses only. And my dream was to make it the Amazon for small businesses.
And
we
that was
are
like two years ago, Patty. Was that about right?
Yeah, about a year and a half, coming up on 2 years.
And it's growing, and you keep evolving it to making it a better and better product for people to join.
Yes, we are coming out with Shop Main Street Online 2.0 in about 4 to 6 weeks. So I'm really excited about that. It's going to really help small businesses, and we've also added another section for American-made products. So we're excited about that, and I think it's going to be a whole better shopping experience for the customers. So
You know what would really make that business grow?
What was that?
A jingle.
A jingle. You're right.
Just a thought.
Just a thought.
Wow, that took a long time. Wow. So, Patty, how do people find out more about if they're interested in talking to you?
They're
or
interested in
listening
talking
to you.
to me.
Yes.
30 minutes.
Yes, 30 minutes. How do they get 30 minutes with you?
They can call me.
Okay.
414-378-5449.
And that is your direct cell number.
That
correct?
is.
That's not some 800 number
Nope,
overseas.
Nope, you'll talk to me, and 30 minutes later, I'll let you hang up.
Yeah. So be careful.
Yeah.
Make sure you have 30 minutes before you call.
Exactly.
But when you do, it'll change your life. What it really does, it gives people with truly small businesses an opportunity to leverage the power of the web for them, and someone who passionate about small businesses to help you through it. So,
Right, and I know a lot of small businesses have their own websites and their own e-commerce sites, and they feel hesitant about coming on a marketplace platform. So we are introducing this new concept for them so they can come on, still keep their space and be their own person. And so we're really excited about it. It's kind of hard to explain without telling the whole story.
Yeah. Okay. Well, very cool. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Now, just from his very name, I don't know. This is a bad idea to introduce him because we don't have. Why do you nickname Mel to start with, so people know what I'm talking about?
That would be a whole nother Jack Henke show if we get to get into that. But actually, it's a couple friends of mine from high school. I grew up in Green Bay, Wisconsin. That gave me the nickname when I was a senior in high school because I had a tendency to not tell my story too quickly. And I don't know if you remember, this is probably politically incorrect now, but there was a country music singer named Mel Tillis that could really sing a tune, but he had a hard time talking. So there was two guys in the car that gave me that, and I'm forever grateful that they did, because it has stuck with me.
It has. You're Tom Mel Stanton of Mel's Charities. Thanks for joining us today,
Thanks,
Mel.
Jack.
You know what, Jack? I'm sorry, but Mel's Charities was one of Shop Main Street Online's first, because we have a philanthropic side, we were able to donate $100 to Mel's Charities for being on Shop Main Street Online, and Mike Jackson over at C. Weisler's helped make that happen. So
a lot of firsts here today. First time around this show, first time I ever Shop Main Street Online, and first time I ever heard so many jingles.
It's good for you.
Well, you hooked up with Jack Henke Mel, so you're riding our coattails because you announced
I'm honored to be
you
here.
announced that you're going to be here, and then boom, you get a front page story in the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel.
Right.
I'm sure that was not a coincidence.
No, and I mean, we always say this, you can't make this stuff up, the story of Mel's Charities. And to see stuff like that happened a couple days ago when the front page of the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, they tell our story, it's hard to put into words, what this has meant to me personally, but more importantly, what it's done for the people of Ozaukee County.
It's fantastic. Now the basics of Mel's is everything that's raised here stays here in Ozaukee County, correct?
Yes.
And give us an example of organizations that it's your mission to help.
Well, the ones that's always near and dear to our hearts, if you've never been around individuals, I don't like the term special needs, they've changed my life and a lot of the people that are involved with our organization. But we help fully fund Ozaukee County Special Olympics. So there's 100 athletes, 10 sports that they get to enjoy playing what we like to play while we were all growing up. And the best thing what I've seen with these individuals, they win and lose games just like we did, and they're sky high when they win, and they're really upset when they lose. But immediately after, like, Mel, what are we doing next? They live in the moment. We worry about what happened yesterday, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, what's going to happen down the road. These individuals live today, and that's all we're guaranteed. So I try to live my life that way now, and you'll get to meet the Ross and Andys of the world as Jack shows moves on here, but they will change your life.
Definitely. Yeah, I've said about Ross, he has an easy grace about him. He just, everywhere he goes, people smile.
Yep.
I mean, that is an unusual trait that you can do that so easily. And recently, there was a documentary completed about your mission and your organization, and there was a showing at the Rivoli, the world-famous Rivoli Theater right here in Hunderberg. And it's a 30-minute piece, and how can people who, if they weren't able to see that screening of it, Mel, how can people find out about, get their hands on a copy or see it, or please let us know about that.
Well, first of all, it's called You Can't Make This Stuff Up, and you can't, this journey of Mel's and all the people that are involved and the people that are being impacted on it. I was on a golf course, and I got paired up with this guy, and he starts asking me, of course, I had something with Mel's on, shocking. And I started telling him, he goes, you know what, I do documentaries for a living, a lot of music documentaries. They did Les Paul, his name's Glenn Avini, with Icon Music and Tanner Monagle. So I started telling him a story about a few stories of ours. And as Jack knows, I can talk a dog off a meat truck too. Good thing it was an 18-hole event that day. But he said, I want to do a documentary on you. And we didn't have to pay a dime for it. And I'm not from here originally, but when we get jaded living around here sometime, but I'm telling you, there's no better place than Cedarburg and Ozaukee County. And to see it at the Rivoli, Jack was there with a packed house. Mm-hmm. And then to tie it all in with Mike Jackson and Weisler's, to have 200 people go down there afterwards with smiles on their faces, doesn't get much better than that. As far as if you want to see it, we have DVDs. We'd be happy to give them to you. You just got to email at info@melscharities.org. And then we're also working on ways to put the Ross and Mel Roadshow. We'll start taking it around the state because we want to start impacting more people's lives. If they see our story, it might spur them on in their community to maybe have some fun too, because it's all we do. We just have parties all year round, and then 100% of it goes back out. Pretty simple recipe.
fantastic one.
Mel, do you realize sitting this close to Jack, you're liable to burst into flames?
Well, and there's a story to that too. I met Jack before this Mel thing, and he even wrote. Jack's been very kind. We're in the Cedar Blurbs a few times, and we met the weekend that the Olympics, the Miracle on Ice. He was up visiting. Jack's much younger than I am, and he was up visiting some friends at Oshkosh, and that's when our lives first crossed. And like I said, you can't make this stuff up. Now I'm sitting next to him talking about Mel's Charities and his radio show here over the internet. It's crazy.
Ain't it cool?
But I'm grateful for it.
Yeah, we couldn't even get Miracle on Ice live.
No.
The Russians in USA.
We had to go to the bars first. That was terrible. We had to first go out. Then we had to go home and watch it at 2 a.m.
Yeah,
How
it
did
was
that
something
work?
else.
Mm-hmm.
So very cool. So melscharities.org
Correct.
is your website. And if someone emails you, you'll get back to them.
Absolutely. I mean, the heart and soul of this whole thing is not me. Ed Triekstad's here in the crowd today, and Ed plays a key role in our strategic planning. And there are so many people behind the scenes. You see me out doing this stuff, or you'll see us in the paper and all that. I am a little piece of this thing. The heart and soul of this whole Mel's Charities is this community of Ozaukee County. And we always say this, too, we're just getting started.
You're just getting started, and you don't have to be a big donor, although that's good. But if you can donate your time, your talents, your efforts, you'll take all comers. If you can help, you're part of the team.
Mel's was built and always will be built on whatever people can bring to the table. It can be financial. It's amazing how many talents people have that if you just let them run with it and be part of our dysfunctional family, as you call it, it goes from impacting one person's life, where we gave $350 at the Special Olympics, to now we've given over $1.1 million over the last 20 years. And like I said, though, you can talk all you want about the money. It's empowering individuals and just letting them go with it and have a blast here in Ozaukee County and impact lives. Pretty simple, Jack.
Well, good. I get it. I can follow that okay.
Yeah, I had to keep it simple.
All right. Well,
I really appreciate this. The very first show.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll be able to look back on this. And I even did a little research, too. And the first episode with Johnny Carson, Mel Brooks was on there. So there is now another Mel. So we won't be in no library soon. We'll be in Hollywood, Jack, and we'll be Bulldog and Scott. This will just be the start of things. So thank you very much, Jack.
Thank you all for coming. Now, very simply, we got to go to a message, correct?
We absolutely do. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, again. We will come back with singer-songwriter Elizabeth Cation. Come on back. But first, we sell stuff. Better?
Yes.
Bingo.
Yes.
We are truly back. Good, because I had cracked a really bad joke and I would have been in trouble with the wife. We're back with the Jack Henke
You know what?
Show.
Probably referring to her as the wife won't score up any
That's
big
bad,
points
too.
either. Yeah. Yes. Patty calls her husband Mr. Wonderful. You called your wife, the wife. All right.
Wow.
All right.
The doghouse ready, darling? Here's Jack before I truly get in big trouble.
All right. I'm very, very happy to be able to discuss very quickly because we want to get right to the show. Elizabeth Cation. Is that pronounced correctly? Cation? Okay. Sorry about that. So I know Elizabeth by face. I know she has good taste because she goes to the Java House where I spend half my life. But Elizabeth is 17 years old, Cedarburg resident, and Cedarburg High School.
Yes,
So
I'm
you're
a senior.
you're a senior Bulldog.
I am, yes.
Excellent. What's up after this? Do you know?
After this, I'm going to be taking a gap year. I'm going to be working in the area and playing music, hopefully. So
Excellent.
I'm very
Excellent.
honored to be here.
Oh no, we're
For
honored
sure.
to have you. We're really thrilled.
Thank you.
So what I really love is that you wrote this, correct?
I did, yeah.
Tell us about it. Real quick.
Well, I think I get to play too. Do I get to play
Yep.
too? All right. So do I just get started here?
Well, tell us a little bit about the song first,
So
and then
this first song that I'm going to be playing, my parents encouraged me to take this one like off the shelf, of like in my head where all the songs live, and it's kind of about like when you're in a relationship and the person that you're with is kind of. Everyone kind of grows and changes, and you want to support them as much as possible. But sometimes it's kind of scary for you, and so this song is about being with someone who's wanting to make their life a different thing. It's fair.
No, that's
I
good.
wasn't,
That's great.
like,
That's
prepared
good.
for.
No, that's good. It's honest. That's great. Okay, please share it with us.
All right. Thanks so much. The love of my life dresses in old clothes of mine, and he wears them better than me. The love of my life tells me things will be fine, and I'm doing my best to believe. 'Cause everything's different, or at least it's about to be. The love of my life keeps me on the edge of my seats. I spend my days waiting for the world to cave in, and I waste my nights wasting away. 'Cause I can't stand this pacing, this hoping, this praying that everything just stays the same. When he says, darling, I'll be someone else, just wait. When you meet me, you'll like what you see. Well, I don't want you to be anyone else. Won't you stay here and say that you'll be the love of my life, just as you seem. Stands with his back to mine, and if I lean back, he'll hold me up. The love of my life makes me feel like I'm fine, and then all at once it reminds me of the life all around me, the life that I'll have to give up. This is how it is, this is what it's like being in love. When he says, darling, I'll be someone else, just wait. When you meet me, you'll like what you see. Well, I don't want you to be anyone else. Won't you stay here and say that you'll be the love of my life, just as you seem. Oh, we could be happy when everything's different, and it's horrible, awful of me. But I don't want anything at all to be different. I want you to stay here and be the love of my life as you seem. Darling, I'll be someone else, just wait. When you meet me, you'll like what you see. Oh, I don't want you to be anyone else. Won't you stay here and lie down with me? The love of my life as you see.
Excellent. Elizabeth, what was the name of that? What was the name of that song? What was the name of that one?
It was called Someone Else.
Someone Else. Okay. And you
Thought
got
I'd start off on a more somber note and then move to something happier.
We Are Yours. Wherever you're taking us, it's cool. So, what's the name of the next one?
It's called Sweet December.
Sweet December. All right.
And it's very opposite. It's about being very happy and in love, and particularly in the month of December, which happens to be when my parents' anniversary is. So this song's always going to go out to them.
Very nice. Very nice. Great.
Promise you'll hold me tomorrow, and I'll be there when you come home. Promise we'll tell each other secrets, ones the closest friends don't know. 'Cause lately I've been thinking of how good it feels to be in love with you, because you know me so well. And I like every warm July, like all the rains and rising tides with you. And I know you can tell. I like when it's cold, hot chocolate on a Sunday morning with your hands all tangled in mine. Singing sweet December, I'd hold you forever. But on New Year's Day, you and I'll still be wrapped up tight. Promise you'll drive me far away, and I'll meet you there across the parking lot. Promise we can tell the world we've stepped out for the day, and I'll tell you every day you're everything I want. 'Cause lately I've been dreaming of the night we met, the beauty of it all, because somehow I have you. And God, I can't believe my eyes, 'cause all my days and every night it's you. And I love everything we do. Like when it's cold, hot chocolate on a Sunday morning with your hands all tangled in mine. Singing sweet December, I'd hold you forever. But on New Year's Day, you and I will be wrapped up tight. I'd like to spend every Christmas Day with you. Promise when we're all grown up, we'll have a life or two. And when we're old, I'll tell you on a Sunday morning how I'm glad you spent your life in mine. And this sweet December, I would keep you forever. Oh, but when it ends, you and I will be wrapped up tight. We'll be wrapped up tight. We'll be wrapped up tight. We'll be wrapped up tight. Promise you'll hold me tomorrow, and I'll be there when you come home.
Wow. Fantastic. Yeah, I would say there was a little bit of range in there between the two. That was quite something else. That was spectacular. Very cool. Terry, any comment?
You don't have a voice. Here, Michaelis, here you go. Coming in.
I love her
Oh,
voice.
thank you. That's very nice.
You playing anywhere recently? Anything coming up? Anything we should know about? Website? Any Facebook presence?
Not in particular. I'm in a vocal duo with another woman from the area. Her name is Callie, and we're called Smile. So if you want to look us up on YouTube, Facebook, we are Smile with Cation Thoreau. That's our last names. So
Perfect.
Very cool. Did you receive any tickets today for anything, Bulldog?
I did indeed. I got tickets here from Kathleen.
Yes.
I believe.
From the
CPAC
yes.
for the Tony
Dessert.
concert. I didn't want to mess that up. So we can certainly dole those out to a few members of our studio audience tonight, I think.
Yeah, he's going to be here next Friday, the 17th. Terry, you like him. You said he was bluesy and cool. Yeah. He's like who's the junior guy? I always can't remember his name. Michael Bublé or
a little bluesier than Michael Bublé.
Yeah, very cool.
Down that road.
Yeah. Yeah, very cool.
Bluesy Buble.
So
It's fun to say.
we may have an interview with him next week. We're trying to line
Working
that
on
up.
it, absolutely.
Yeah, and
Getting closer.
possibly he's going to be in the airport, and we're going to see if he'll sing a cappella for us. But I don't think he will. But we're thrilled to have an
TSA
opportunity
let
to talk
you
to him.
sing anymore? Like you just
Not
burst out
me,
the song?
but
I don't
Tony.
know.
I think they would let Tony DeSere sing.
Okay, well that's fine. I mean, that doesn't affect us. We still will get what we need. So perfect.
Okay, we got anything else?
We
done?
are good. We survived a premiere episode, is what we did.
Well, not only we survived, I want to
and
thank
our
everybody who
wonderful
showed
studio
up.
audience
Yes,
survived as
yes,
well.
yes.
Thanks for coming in, everybody. So we have to thank Tom, Mel in quotes, Stanton from Mel's Charities, Patty, Gallun-Hanson. Thank you.
Jack for having us. And also, isn't next week Jack's birthday?
Is that true? Is that accurate?
Ben Franklin,
This is like your third one.
Muhammad Ali, and me. Yeah. Well,
So be sure to wish him a happy birthday.
yeah.
It keeps coming up in my
Yeah.
phone. I'm not sure what's going on there.
I keep waiting for a gift.
Patty Gallun-Hanson of ShopMainStreetOnline.com. And, of course, Jingle Master, Terry Sweet. Thank you for coming. That's fantastic. Wonderful. And our musical guest, Elizabeth. Thank you very much. That was all beautiful and wonderful. That was
you.
just great. So that's a great way to have a first episode. All right, folks. I'd like to thank Linda Priscilla, the library director, for letting us do this.
You are the biggest brown noser in the world.
I haven't
My
even begun
God,
to brown nose. You
Jesus.
should see the list I have here. I
Honest-
also have
honest to
David
goodness.
Nimmer, our assistant director, because without him,
We
I
don't have
get
this
one of
room?
these. Yeah, I don't get the golden
All
microphone
right, we
award.
love David. He's cool.
Scott Roush, mixer, producer extraordinaire. Thank you so much. And thanks to all of our studio audience, and thanks to Sue Carlman, who
That's right.
makes a lot of this happen too.
That's
so,
right.
and stop by. So, thanks everybody. We're out of here.
Yeah, thank you.
Episode 1 is in the books. Come back next week. We might.
Thank you.
Yeah, hi. Jeff Messerman, station manager of CPL Radio in Cedarburg. Yeah, hi. We're producing your client Jack Henke's show. What? No. He's no, he's not in jail. No, I mean, last I heard, he's not. I mean, no arson. Fire eating. No. He's a talk show host. He's not a fire eater. You must have him confused with. Yes, that Jack Henke. Yes, right. So okay, yeah. So we got through the first show. It went fine. But Jack turned in a list of demands, and I was wondering if we could go over them. Just over the phone. I mean, just to get the conversation right. I mean, you are his agent, so I thought this would be the proper channel to. Okay. Okay, lawyer. No, I don't want to talk to his doctor. I think you'll be fine. No, I don't. Why would I want to talk to her? I don't care if he took her to the prom. That must have been years ago. Look, I'll start with you, and if you think I should be transferred to another, great. Yes, fine. Now, point 1 on this list of demands. No, they're not requests. They're demands. How do I know that? Because that says right at the top, Jack Henke's list of demands. So, yeah, okay. So demand number 1 says he needs world peace. We are a very small community radio station. We don't have a lot of influence over, like, geopolitical... Oh, he always does that? Okay. So I shouldn't take it seriously then. Good, because when I went this over with my boss, and we were a little stymied by that right out of the gate. So great. Excellent. Good. Okay. Close the book on that one. Okay, point 2. What is Bolshoi Kropnicek? I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Bolshoi, like SH. Okay, Bolshoi. So what is it? I did Google it. It's what? Body wash. Can't I just go to CVS or something then? Siberian body wash. Okay, again, we are a small radio station. I don't think we can ship in body wash from Siberia. They don't ship. You have to go to Siberia to get it. Okay, well, yeah, that's not going to happen either. Look, there's a lot here. Maybe we can work this out at a later... Yeah, it's substantial. Let's see here. It is 622 pages, plus a 10-page index in the back. Good. Let's pick this up at a later date. Yeah. You think you'll walk? Well, what can we do to prevent that? We have a second episode next week, so there is a minimum. Is there a minimum version of this list that we can? No, that's out of the question. We don't have the budget for a sailboat. No, not even. No, that's not. We're a library radio station. The closest we could get to a sailboat would be water skis. One water ski, not a pair. Yeah, I don't think they sell those anymore. No. Well, sure, they still sell diet soda, but they don't use saccharin anymore. Apparently it was like bad for you. So no, I don't think I can find a case of diet soda with saccharin. So what else can we... You don't mean like a real one? A real tarantula. Living. I'll see what I can do. No promises. Okay, yes, thanks. We'll pick this up next week. Thank you. Oh, boy.